Before we dive into today's breaking news, we must all take a moment to honor what this day truly stands for. Memorial Day isn't just a holiday, it's just not a day off. It's a sacred reminder of those who gave everything to this country. The brave men and women who laid down their lives so we could live in freedom, speak without fear, and fight for truth. Their sacrifice is the very reason for this channel. What they gave to this country, what they sacrificed for this country and their families. This very conversation exists today because of each and every one of them. Today, we remember them. We thank them. And we vow we will never forget the sacrifices they gave to preserve this great republic of the United States of America. And I'll be back with you in just 1 minute. Today's headline story. Russia just launched what many are calling the largest air assault of the war. You've seen the headlines. Russia hits Ukraine with the largest drone and missile attack of the war so far. The scale, as they're stating, of the onslaught was stunning. Russia hit Ukraine with 367 drones and missiles, making this the largest single attack of the more than 3-year-long war. But was there a backstory to this? The article also states there was no immediate comment from Moscow, but there was. I don't know why the mainstream media continues to do this. It's not that difficult. Now, they do play some of their sound bites, at least a sound bite from Trump.
Provide us an update on Russia and Ukraine as well.
Yeah, I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him. But he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
And then a second question is asked. A second question we'll get to in the primary portion of this video, but a question that is especially relevant because the mainstream media told you, unprovoked, no idea why, plays that clip from Trump, and a lot of them stopped it right there. And then you get to the second section, which may go to put a whole lot more color behind what just happened. And I'm going to bring you that today. Before I do, thank you all for the amazing show of support in yesterday's video. Hope if you missed it, just step back and watch it. Information you can't afford to miss on AI and the technologies that will soon, seems like, control us. But I want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. For those of you already subscribed, double check that you still are. Your comments, your shares, your likes, always appreciated. And something else I appreciate is a new sponsor to this channel. Have you gone to JustusKnightGold.com yet? Again, that's JustusKnightGold.com. Brought to you by Noble Gold Investments. Retirement statements are out, and for many, the shock is real. Some accounts are down 20%, but gold was up over 30% last year. And why? Well, that's probably due to that 60% swing. In retirement, that matters. Compare your Q1 statements to gold's performance, then go to JustusKnightGold.com, or you can call Noble Gold Investments at 877-646-5347 and tell them Justus Knight sent you. They'll help you protect what you've earned and get your finances back on track. Open a qualified account today, and what do you get? It's always nice with gifts with every qualified account like this one. Receive a free 10-ounce silver American flag bar with every qualified account. I need you to go to JustusKnightGold.com right now. Remember, there's always a risk to investing. No guarantees, but if anyone can see you through that risk, it's Noble Gold Investment. And also, there's more information in the description box below. Again, JustusKnightGold.com. Get there right now. And now let's get back to this broadcast. I don't know if y'all caught this. The slap heard round the world. Oh, little Macron seems like he's in a little bit of trouble with the wife now. Opens the door just behind him. Watch it. Ooh, that's not... Oh, hi, guys. Sorry, you guys didn't see that, did you? Oh, embarrassing for little Macron. I wonder who truly runs him. Oh, she had something to say. And you'll see as they come off the plane, he looks to hold hands, and she was having none of it. And afterwards, what do we see? We get to see the clenched fist. Oh, look at the white knuckles going there. I wonder what happened. A plot twist that no one saw coming, or a plot twist that no one cares about. All I care about is that man's stature is diminished even further. But that wasn't the only thing that we should be paying attention to, right? Because we gotta love how the mainstream media does things. You know, they show you this clip. I'll let you listen here for 1 minute.
Thank you guys for taking a minute to honor the life of George Floyd. George was a father, a brother, and a son. And his life...
Okay, there we go. We're honoring George Floyd. The WNBA, in the middle of their own crises continually. And it shows how big the crisis is, because this is the picture they want you to see, with somewhat of an audience behind her. But the camera makes the mistake of, not showing this, but panning out a little bit and showing truly what the WNBA has done to itself. And if they continue to do things like this, they will continue to diminish. Does people just want to go out and have a good time? Of course they do. But they're subject to the same rhetoric and talking points. And because of that, you end up with empty stands. Deservingly so. But first, a little housekeeping here. This story annoys the living crap out of me. GOP senators rail against staggering $4.7 trillion in untraceable Treasury payments, but you guys allowed it for all these years. Y'all allowed it. You didn't care. Doge came out. The Treasury access symbol is an identification code linked in Treasury payments. We've heard about this story. And now they're going to fill it out for us. Well, that's a novel thought, isn't it? It was only $4.7 trillion in spending. It's nice that you're actually putting a code as to where it was going. But what was even more disturbing to me, coming out of the U.S. Senate now, to require adequate traceability for expenditures by the federal government, you had to put a bill now to trace payments? They're really proposing this. Like this shouldn't have been done from the very first day. No later than 180 days after the date of enactment of this section, the Secretary of Treasury shall implement a system that tracks all outlays for each appropriate receipt or other fund account. I don't know how many of you run a business, but normally you're not allowed to simply write a check without documenting who that check went to, tracing it, and then, of course, reconciling it later on. That would be normal business practice, but our U.S. government doesn't deploy normal business practice now, does it? They had to put a bill out for this. Disturbing? Oh, just a bit, but we got to go on to other, well, I want to know your opinion. There's two questions I'll ask you today. This is the first. Senator Ron Johnson coming out about the big, beautiful bill. I don't know if you heard this clip, but if not, you're about to.
We're out of time, but I'm just wondering if you could just give me a number. How many other Republican senators do you think share your concerns and are willing to make major changes to this bill?
I think we have enough to stop the process until the president gets serious about spending reduction and reducing the deficit.
Ooh, the big, beautiful bill could be in big trouble. Senator Ron Johnson coming out. He had a further statement, pushing his point even more.
I couldn't care less if he's upset. I'm concerned about my children, my grandchildren, and the fact that we are stealing from them. We are stealing from our children and grandchildren. $37 trillion in debt, and we're going to add to it as Republicans? That is unacceptable. And that's why there's no way I'm going to vote for this bill in its current form.
So before we get back to the main story, what's your thought? Is Ron Johnson right or wrong? Should he be supporting Trump and getting this bill through, or does he have a valid case for pushing against the big, beautiful bill? Look forward to the comments below. That was question one. Question two is a little bit easier. For those of you familiar with the story that just broke about Russia's largest aerial assault on Ukraine, who's to blame here? Ukraine or Russia? It's a one-word answer. For those of you who don't know the story yet, don't worry, I'm going to bring it to you. Some of the truth resides in these articles. What could be the truth? This article in particular, posted by the Associated Press, Russia and Ukraine complete prisoner swap hours after Moscow launches major aerial assault. The article starts with some of the information I provided you. The area of Kyiv, the capital, came under attack. Massive Russian drone and missile attack that killed at least 12 people and injured dozens. 367 drones, 69 missiles of various types, and 298 drones made up the attack. There was no immediate comment from Moscow on the strikes, but there always has been. But then I always go to the question, why is the mainstream media not covering it? These were deliberate strikes on ordinary cities, stated Zelensky. America's silence, the silence of others in the world, only encourages Putin. Without truly strong pressure on the Russian leadership, this brutality cannot be stopped. Sanctions will certainly help, and that's what Zelensky's wanted. But he's not getting that response from Trump. Not yet. So what could help get that response from Trump? Is there the potential that Zelensky will try something that will incite Putin enough so that America steps in? Just a question. Maybe this article here, because this one we just read to you, right? Russia and Ukraine complete prisoner swap hours after Moscow launches major assault. But why, after all these facts and figures they provided you, did they wait till the very bottom to disclose something? Something that I'm going to play a clip that Trump at least lets you believe he didn't know. It states, speaking on Russian state TV on Sunday, a Russian serviceman said that Putin was reportedly flying over the Kursk region in a helicopter when the area came under intense Ukrainian drone attack during his visit. Putin's helicopter was virtually at the epicenter of repelling a large-scale attack by the enemy's drones. Okay. Russia Air Defense units shot down 46 drones during the incident, which happened prior to the largest air assault on Kyiv in the region. Just putting this into context. Now let's go backwards a bit. The second question that was asked of Trump. Now most of the mainstream media cuts it off here. They don't play the second clip. Let's listen to it.
Can I follow up on that? A Russian commander reportedly said that Putin was almost caught in the middle of a drone attack from Ukraine. So do you have any...
I haven't heard that, but maybe that would be a reason. I don't know, but I have not heard that.
Okay, now we get a little bit more information. I just try to round off the picture for you. You decide. And again, I'm going to ask you that second question here in a moment, because there's many articles surrounding this. Understanding that what Putin is trying to do right now is to create what he calls a buffer zone, an area between Ukraine and Russia that can be secured to assure, well, there could be many outcomes to that, to assure NATO can't simply attack through Ukraine into Russia. A buffer zone would protect Russia. Russian armed forces are creating a security buffer zone along the border between Russia and Ukraine. He stated that Thursday. I've already said that a decision was made to create the necessary security buffer zone along the border. Our armed forces are currently solving this problem. Enemy firing points are being actively suppressed. The work is underway. Remember, Russia already stated this. Ukraine Foreign Minister spokesperson said the plan was aggressive and demonstrated that Russia is the obstacle of peace efforts now. Okay. I've read all the war blogs on this. Russia offensive campaign assessment, and you see the buffer zone. And he stayed within that so far. Now, when you launch into Kyiv, that's something entirely different. That could be unprovoked. Lavrov came out earlier and said, this ceasefire? Nah, we're too close to victory right now. They've allowed this to drag on so far now that Putin sees the opportunity to create this buffer zone, lock it down, and why would I enter into legitimate peace deals right now if, in his mind, this portion of the offensive is almost done? Now, it is still Putin. Got to hold him at arm's length, because not everything he says is honest or truthful. We know that, and either is Zelensky. But For the mainstream media to say none of this has been talked about, it's in black and white. It's not hard to find. Journal after journal has talked about this. Russia says it captured 3 more settlements in East Ukraine. That was on May 24th, just 2 days ago. So then why do they continue to propagate only one story? It's the same thing they did with Trump. They only propagate one side, what fits their agenda. They want full support of America going against Putin, throwing NATO into the country, supporting Ukraine, and potentially prolonging a very dangerous war. So how could Ukraine, what would bolster Ukraine's position? An attack so horrendous by Russia that the world would have to react. And potentially, how could you incite such a reaction? Well, there would be no better way than to assassinate Putin. And that is what is being declared here. Ukraine tried to attack Putin's helicopter mid-flight over Kursk. Russian Air Defense Division officer says Ukrainian drones attempted to swarm his whole chopper flight path. Russian air defenses scrambled, working perfectly, and repelled the strike. Now, which side is telling the truth and which is lying, we may never know. But we do know, allegedly, that if this occurred, and then immediately thereafter, Russia launches an overnight attack, the largest air assault of the war, who's to blame here? The question again, is this Russia or is this Ukraine? I really look forward to your opinions, but I wanted to round off this story because there is a whole angle that nobody seems to be covering. Well, until now. But that's why you're here. I simply provide you the information and you decide, and I look forward to seeing your comments. Blow up the comment stream below. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all your attention. And again, this Memorial Day, let's remember what this truly means. This isn't about picnics or parties. No, this is remembrance, and for each of you that served, for each of you that lost a loved one, who was there to protect the very sanctity of this great republic of the United States of America. God bless each and every one of you. I couldn't do this without the sacrifices that you gave. And for that, I will never forget, and I will always remember. God bless you. I love you. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.